Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to I Love Babylon Live. I am happy to have a great guest today, but let's go into it. This is the heart of Long Island, your I Love Babylon Live. This week is supposed to be Independence Week, and that's because we're talking about local independent small businesses. And this amazing report came out recently from the New York State Comptroller office, Thomas DiNapoli, and he revealed that the Babylon Industrial Development Agency generated $1.88 billion in economic activity and over 6,000 new jobs in 2023, making it one of the most impactful local economic engines in the state. And so we have with us as a guest Town Councilman Anthony Manetta, who's coming to talk to us. And by the way, just so you understand who I'm talking to, this guy's been introduced as a next generation change maker from minority millennials. The Long Island Business News has recognized him twice as once 40 leaders under 40. You're not under 40 anymore, right? You're a little bit
just a shy of.
Yeah, just shy of that, right? And also, you were awarded IDA of the Year when you were working with Suffolk County IDA, the Melville Chamber of Commerce. How come none of our chambers of commerce have actually recognized you? We'll have to talk to one of them about that. But the Melville Chamber of Commerce Business Advocate of the Year, they recognize Business Advocate of the Year for its ongoing support of local independent businesses. This is none other than Councilman Anthony Manetta from the town of Babylon, who is here. And your role here is basically to generate small business growth in Babylon. What's exactly your role? Just so those people who haven't paid attention before, you've been on. I think you've been on me like 4 times now. So tell them what your role is, Anthony.
Yeah, sure. So I'm an elected town councilman, finishing up my 8th year now. So my end of my second term is coming up, and
That's right.
really what my focus is, that's really passionate of mine, is small business and helping small businesses succeed and entrepreneurs. Being a small business person myself, I fully understand, what entrepreneurs and business owners go through. Oftentimes, you have to pay your employees first, your, office, rent first, or your commercial mortgage first, before all of a sudden the money trickles down to you. So I know it's a big risk, and I always applaud our small businesses throughout the town of Babylon for the work that they do. And so it's my focus primarily on the town councils. Obviously, the town board is tasked with running the town, the budget, our parks, our highways, public safety. But small business is also a part of that, and that's one of the things that I head up.
Great. So, how much are you involved with this amazing result here? 1.88 billion with a B in active projects, over 6,123 new jobs created, 5,003 jobs retained. So I guess maybe they were going to go somewhere else and you guys held on to them. 24.45 million in pilot payments. We're going to come back to that. So I'm going to figure out exactly what that is and explain to everybody, because I know it's basically tax breaks, but why? Why do we do tax breaks for our businesses? And then, of course, it seems like our local businesses are finally getting a seat at the table and growing, right? So give me some more info on exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, so you hear the word IDA, Industrial Development Agency. So an IDA is a public benefit corporation that is under New York state law. Certain towns have IDAs, not every town, but certain towns have IDAs. There's also a Suffolk County IDA that oversees the entire county. Typically, if there's a local IDA, they will do the local project. And IDAs are tasked with really looking to, when I was at the Suffolk County IDA, I retained I had a model, a name like Retain and Grow, RNG, Retain and Grow Our Workforce, because it's so critical to make sure that our companies stay here to create the job opportunities, especially for our next generation of workers. And so the IDA is tasked with they're able to provide three benefits in order to look to keep our companies here and to create jobs. They could provide a property tax incentive. They could provide an exemption from the mortgage recording tax. So when you're a company and you're buying a building, you get an exemption from that. And for the equipping and the construction or the renovation of the project with the IDA, you get an exemption from state and local sales tax on the materials and equipment that goes into that project. So those are the three benefits that you get when working with an IDA. The Town of Babylon IDA is there's a board of directors and an executive staff that runs that agency. The town council appoints the board, but the day-to-day management and running of the agency is done by the CEO and the staff and the board of directors and the board chairman.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so let's say, I don't know, I'm a small business here in town. Maybe I live in Lindenhurst. Maybe I run a little website that tells everybody about local events, and then I help local businesses with their online marketing. How does a small business like that get help, either through the IDA or through, some sort of, because I see them talking about business grants and loans. I prefer grant. How does a small business get into something like that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways. One, the IDA from time to time does have different grant programs that can be available. So it's always good to check in with the IDA to see if they have any current grants that are available. Sometimes they might have some loan programs as well that they could be offering. Um, if you are a business and you're looking to buy a building, oftentimes you'll have the companies will grow and they want to buy a building within the town of Babylon. If you're a manufacturer or a service business, distributor, software company, design shop, advertising agency, professional services, you could potentially look to qualify for an IDA benefit to help you make that building more affordable, especially
Okay.
if you retain your workforce and you're hiring new people. And the other way is that, my office, town council office, often collaborates with the IDA. I'm also chairman of the small business committee, where we'll put together events throughout the year that provides resources for small businesses to be able to access, see what's available from the various partner agencies too. So not just IDA, but you could have PSE&G grants that are available on utilities and electric. There could be grants from Empire State Development Corporation for new hiring and equipment purchases. There's all these other resources that the IDA really comes forward with and even works in collaboration with my office to be able to provide small businesses those resources.
Excellent, excellent. So listen, 6,000 new jobs, billions in project value, huge, huge uh, pluses for the town. Why and what are we doing differently from everyone else? How come that? I mean, they're literally saying we are 10 times more profitable than many other, not just on Long Island, but across New York State. What is it that you and we are doing differently that produces this kind of result?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with making sure that you're accessible to the business community, and the town of Babylon IDEA does a great job at getting the word out there, connecting, especially a lot of these jobs that you'll see. A lot of them are very rooted and tied into the much needed manufacturing sector within the town of
Okay.
Babylon.
Yeah.
So making sure that our companies that are employing manufacturing, whether it be pharmaceutical, nutraceutical, defense manufacturing, those types of companies, which are so critical to our local economy. The IDA does a very good job at connecting with them, making sure that the executives there know that we want you here in the town of Babylon, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure that you stay here. Because I could tell you firsthand knowledge that um, it is extraordinarily competitive in terms to keeping companies here. They are constantly under pressure to being recruited from South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. Um, there are times where those states actually will have economic development people have an office on Long Island to try and get closer to our companies to recruit them out of New York State. So it's really important, and the IDA should be applauded for the job that they're doing in terms of making sure that our companies are not just staying here, but as you can see, adding 6,000 new jobs to our local economy.
Okay. Okay. So now I understand what you were saying, why they're saying, okay, you're retaining a certain number of jobs. Because yes, I do know that not only are there economic incentives in other states, but it might be, this is New York, and more important, this is Long Island. It might be, 2 times, 3 times less expensive to open up shop, to, pick up and open up shop and go. Not that most of us even like necessarily going as far down as North Carolina and Georgia. This is New York. We might go to Florida, but as far as back and forth between Long Island and North, where for a long time people were telling me, oh, I'm going to Tennessee. I'm going to Tennessee. I heard that a lot amongst young entrepreneurs who were, in their 30s and 40s, who were saying, you know what, it's not working out here for me. Let me go over there. The pilot payments, how does that rope into that?
Yeah, so pilot is payment in lieu of taxes.
Mhm.
So you pay. So when you work with the IDA, there's typically property tax incentives in order to incentivize you to stay, or incentivize you to come to Babylon, or incentivize you to add new jobs, make the local investment, and really help secure and grow the local economy. So by doing that, you might have a business that is looking to expand on their manufacturing facility, and by doing so, their taxes are going to go from 100,000 a year to 200,000 a year. Let's just use that number. The
Okay.
payment in lieu of taxes will provide an abatement on that $100,000 increase over a
Okay.
period of time. So while you're
Okay.
still paying the 100,000 in that scenario, the increased amount is what you get as a payment in lieu of tax, as a tax incentive. So that's pretty much how that would work. And it could be done over a 10-year period. It could be phased in, where you're paying, 100,000, then 110,000, 100, like phased in over a period of time. So there's all different structures depending on the type of project, how many jobs are being retained, the types of jobs, how many jobs are being created, the investment amount. So it all goes into, the consideration for what the pilot would be.
Excellent. Excellent. So, ladies and gents, as we get to the end here, I just want to say to you, because Councilman Manetta has other things to do, okay? He's got other things to do today. As we come to the end here, I just want to tell you, definitely go take a look at babylonida.org, see if there's anything that you can find there. But, Councilman, can small businesses reach out to your office and speak with, you're talking about accessibility. Can they reach out to you and actually get some sort of information about what's happening in their local business
Yeah,
community? Mhm.
yeah, we do that all the time, and we are, 100% accessible. Call, email, 631-957-4482 is my office. My email address is amanetta@townofbabylonny.gov. Social media, I'm all over.
Yeah.
Anything that you might have as a small business owner, a question, just direction, SBA, lending, whatever it might be, resources, we can point you in the right direction. And what's special about what we do is we don't just say, hey, here's the phone number, good luck, we'll make the introduction. We'll help follow up with you throughout the process to make sure you're getting the proper attention and the information that you need.
Excellent, excellent. So you can reach him at all those places. The town of Babylon has a website. You go search for it, or you just put in his name, Anthony Manetta. After you hang up here, I hang up here. You just put in his name, go searching for it. I promise you, he's everywhere. You'll be able to find him. Hey, speaking of being everywhere, did you make it out to any of the town of Babylon concerts this week, or anything that's
I
happened?
saw I saw it on the I saw them happening. They looked amazing. I didn't get there yet,
Okay, not yet.
but
Okay.
the crowds were great. The bands, the performances. That's one of the how awesome is the town of Babylon, right? I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely.
we
Which
are
is,
great.
technically, I
Yeah,
love Babylon.
there you go.
I'm a little biased, okay, but yeah, it was Tina Turner last night, I think.
Yep.
I think it's the Men of Soul. I think is tonight. I think there's a Prince concert coming up. There's a hoedown type of country music. Not necessarily my thing, but I know people enjoy it. So if you are looking for that kind of information, of course, you should go to ilovebabylon.com/events or ilovebabylon.com/subscribe to get it into your mailbox. Find out what's happening around the town of Babylon, and that's part of what draws people here. I mean, local independent businesses do need actual traffic, sometimes foot traffic, to actually show up here for us to generate some business. So, ladies and gents, please support your town. Thank you so very much, Councilman. Let's talk soon. I hope to see you out there at one of the concerts pretty soon, hopefully.
All right. Sounds good. Great job as always. Keep up the
All
awesome
right.
work. I love
All right.
Babylon.
All right. Very well. Thank you and take
All right.
care.